I've never not run without headphones. Did that podcast ever come out when I talked about how I didn't run with headphones? It's hard to know because we recorded so many
It
episodes.
it did come out because one of Kevin's friends, I don't know if he's still listening, 13 episodes in or whatnot, but he's like, Lucy, you saying like that Sam was raw dogging it without any headphones was one of the funniest things. So
welcome to We'll Sleep
this
When
is
We're Dead.
this is a big week on We'll Sleep When We're Dead.
I know, and I feel like we're recording on Halloween, which happy Halloween to anybody's.
Halloween.
I would not be surprised, or I don't know how to say this, to probably nobody's surprise. Is that how it is? I'm not a Halloween person. I don't know if that would be given, but and this year especially because the marathon is in 2 days. So like I only have 2, like all I care about is the marathon. But we're releasing this after the marathon. So it's just like, I know. It's so crazy.
So exciting.
It is so
But I want to
exciting.
ask you all about how Halloween even works in New York, because I'm sure it's like wildly different than how we're going to be, like on a golf cart bopping to different homes. It's a totally different thing. But before we get to that, how are you feeling? The world wants to know, because I love the fact that this podcast, we have all sorts of people listening, but we also have friends that we don't know and don't know each other, obviously. And I've had so many people sweetly reach out and say, will you let Sam know good luck on the marathon this weekend?
Oh my gosh. Like that are friends of yours.
That are friends
because
with me, that just feel like they know you now. And you've really brought us along for the journey on this. And I
truly,
am
like, nobody's going to care about me after this marathon. It's going to be like, well, okay. First of all, carb loading is a part-time job. Okay.
my favorite. Well, I mean, you just texted me at like 5 p.m. yesterday, basically being like, I'm on my 3rd cup of cereal just to like try to get enough carbs. Which sounds gross. Honestly, like it's not like at a point you're just like, this is no longer fun. This is yuck.
This is yuck. And I'm only, so like, even like I always fact check ChatGPT. That was hard to say. And like all the nutrition and runner people on like social media that have real jobs that aren't just like telling you how to carb load, they like ChatGPT is kind of right. So basically for like my weight, I should be eating close to 300 to 400 carbs a day, 2 to 2.5 days before the race. So
and how much, like, put it into context for people, because anyone that's like not aware of nutrition wouldn't know like how much that is.
Well, what's funny is, okay, so a bagel, like one bagel is usually just anywhere between 30 and 50 grams of carbs, I think.
Oh my gosh. I was anticipating you saying like 100.
No, I think actually so I've had one bagel today and one graham cracker. Graham crackers are really good ways to get carbs, and I've only hit 75 carbs, and I need like 350 today. Oh. And so for somebody who is actually much more of a carb, like in all of my workout journey, especially in CrossFit, like it's all about macros, and I would actually track a lot because I'm really bad at protein. I'm always like good with fat and carbs, way too much with fat. Just like, and peanut butters, that type of fat. So anyway, on an average day when I'm not trying, I probably hit 80 to 90 carbs, because there's carbs in apples. There's carbs in my oatmeal. There's so that's like normal for my height and weight, plus how much I work out. So to almost quadruple that to like 4 times that. So like when you look at these meal plans, it's literally like a bagel and oatmeal for breakfast. And then sometimes it's like,
and can we put cream cheese on the bagel, or is it like we don't want that much flowing in the system?
You can, but I'm trying to avoid cheese, and you want to do like low fiber. But then also like the caloric intake, it's not necessarily about calories. It's more about carbs, because supposedly I'm hopeful this works, because I was also like, is this bogus in the sense of, are these only things that like elite runners should be doing? Like people who are literally expending. But then I was like, no, that's not fair, Sam. Like you're still going to be running for 4.5 hours. Like your body still needs carbs. And so I truly feel like I'm on the set, like, Mean Girls, the movie, when they like tell her what to eat to lose weight and she's just like
The
gaining
what are they,
weight.
Caltine bars or
Yeah.
Cal Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. That's how
We
I
are
feel.
giving you Caltine bars
I'm
right
like,
now.
are people pranking me? Because okay, so yesterday Kyle made me pasta and I barely hit 300 carbs. And truly, I didn't even want the pasta. And I love to eat.
Yeah.
And so then this morning I woke up and normally I have my coffee before I eat, which I guess we shouldn't. And I was like, I don't even want this bagel. Like, and I still
And you're
had,
in the land of bagels, which is the good thing for you, like, to get a great bagel is easy for you, but
and I just like, I was like, don't toast it. Don't put cream cheese on it. Just hand it to me. And I'm literally walking around Brooklyn this morning, just like gnawing on a bagel. So anyway, carb loading is going great. I'm also chugging electrolytes because you have to like also with all that carbs, you need a lot more water to like help from the research that I'm doing. Yeah, I'm a hot mess, I think. I'm just like
my god. Okay, so riddle me this. Do you feel like your intentionality with this specific marathon is very different than when you did San Francisco all those years ago?
so I was trying to think about that because San Francisco was so long ago, but also like I am who I am. So if I'm gonna do something, I kind of do it like an insane fitness wise.
It's curious that the research and the nutrition element, I do feel is much more prevalent and loud now
Yes. It's way
than it
more
ever
like
was
even
previously.
oh, yeah, especially you probably know a lot too in your field, but, like so training-wise, even this mom friend that I was telling, I threw up at the San Francisco Marathon. I don't know if I've
I
told
don't
this
know if
story
you've
before,
told
but
everyone that pleasant story. That
yeah.
was really
So I signed up for a
tough.
running group in San Francisco, and I trained, like, 5 days a week really, really
Yeah,
hard. I did
yeah,
tracks on Tuesday. I did hill work on Wednesdays. I ran long runs every single week. But it's funny because back then, I swear, it was just, like, Cliff Bars and goo, like, the actual
yeah,
brand goo. Like, there
yeah,
was not nearly as much research. We weren't, like, running talking about carbs. It was more
right.
like there wasn't all this electrolyte water. It was always just Gatorade. So I definitely think my nutrition, and as a 25 or 26-year-old, I need to go back and see how old I was. You feel invincible. So like I was drinking way more alcohol leading up to the marathon.
Yeah,
I was not watching what I was eating at all, but I was training really hard. And I would say this time around, just because I'm older and there's so much more knowledge out there, like you're saying, like was carb loading. I don't know if carb loading was that knowledgeable unless you were like deep into the
like in it,
research.
like elite.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it was, where now it's like a real thing that people talk about, all the different types of, ways you can get your energy gels and goos, and so, yeah, I don't know, I feel like I was intense about the training,
Yeah.
but not so much about, like, the full package. I think I, like, literally probably had a beer the night before my race, and, like, I've not drank for, like, 2
Carbs,
weeks. Yeah, carbs, yeah.
let's just
Yeah, I told Kyle, I was like, "I'm not drinking a few weeks leading up to the race," literally last night. He was like, "Heading home from work, do you want wine?" I'm not drinking leading up
no,
to the race. Like, I'm just not
no.
really quite sure why this is hard for you. Like, I'm not
My
having alcohol.
gosh.
Like, I'm already dehydrating my body with my 15 cups of coffee every day. Like, I just don't want alcohol. So, yeah, we'll see. I think I'm so nervous because the San Francisco Marathon, that throwing up took me so much by surprise. I had
Right,
never done that.
right.
So all I'm worried about with the New York one is like my ankle hurts and my hip hurts, but it's like pain that I know I can run through. But like running through puking was so hard. Was so, so hard. And I finished like 45 minutes later than I wanted. Like I just keep telling everybody who knows me well, like I want to enjoy it, but the inner competitor, like I want a good race in the sense that like at the end of it, I know I'm gonna feel really bad because I just ran 26 miles, but I wanna be like, "Wow, I kept my pace and I didn't throw up, and yeah, my body hurts." I don't know, like, I've just put so much into it this time that, like but stuff happens, like, stuff literally
Gosh.
happens. It's so scary.
My gosh. So here are the 2 things I'm curious about leading into this. One, and we've kind of talked about this, but I think it'd be fun to talk about broadly. How do you think you've obviously put in so much time and effort. Like, do you think your girls are seeing that and like any of that is translating for them? Like, wow, mommy's about to do this really big thing that's really important to her.
I don't know. I mean, they always every time I grab, like, sunglasses or something, they'll like, "Are you gonna go on a run?" So, like,
Huh.
they know that I'm running.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they're, like, proud of me. So it'll be really interesting when they see me on the course. And
Yeah.
I've told Isla this, because Isla roasts me more than anybody. Like, I think probably people listen to me probably thinking like, wow, she's really hard on Isla, but like I'm getting it like 10 times worse from her.
Right.
So one time I did look at her and be like, because now that we live here, I'm like, one day, Isla, you're going to think it's really cool that your mom ran the New York City Marathon.
Yes.
Like, I know that it means nothing, because that's another thing. Like this morning I had run 2 miles. I got up at like 5 a.m. and just like literally didn't even take my headphones. I just like jogged out my door and came back, and they weren't awake. And she was like, "What did you do this morning?" I was like, "I ran 2 miles." She's like, "Oh, so like how far is that?" And I was like, "Well, I have to run 26 in a couple days." And like they just have no concept.
So just like a solid 13 times what I
Yeah.
just did.
Yeah. And I was like,
Just go
what
do
if
that 13 more times.
I was like, Isla, it would be like you having to walk to Ruby school 26 times. And she was like, so I don't know. Like, because we
My
want them to
gosh.
think that we're like strong
Yeah.
but then sometimes they don't see me. Okay, so this is funny because Kyle works out in our apartment all the time with his dumbbells. So they're like seeing daddy like lift weights and do push-ups, but they only see me like walk out the door and come back.
They're like, "Mom's not really doing much.
Mom
She's
is
going out,
gone.
and maybe you come back with a coffee, maybe
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
don't." They're like, "What's Mom out there doing?"
Yeah. So I hope one day, especially now that we live here, however long we're going to live here, if we're going to live here forever or I don't know how long we'll live here, but I just think it's so cool for me, and that I hope one day that they're like, not only did we live there, but Mom, you ran that? Like, that's so cool that you ran that. And my dream, okay, because this is another emotional part about this marathon. This whole podcast could be about this marathon.
And it might be because our
Great.
topics are light today.
Yeah. Halloween and marathon. I'm not exaggerating when I say at 26 when I ran the New York City Marathon or the San Francisco, it was such a fail. I was so bummed. I was like, I don't want to do that again in the sense of tomorrow. But I was so bummed by the crowds. Like the crowds, there would be miles in San Francisco that we wouldn't have big crowds.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I just want to run a bigger marathon one day, like the Chicago or the New York. And so the past 10 years, no, 14 years, I've been saying, I'm going to run the New York City Marathon. And I would like put my name in the lottery, even though it's like really hard to get. So when we moved here, literally, I touched down and I was like, I'm going to run this marathon. And I'm doing it. Like, it's just that I think is why I'm going to be like crying the whole time. Cause I'm just like so proud of myself to actually say, like, this is what I want to do. And everyone's like, oh, good luck. You can't do that. And I'm like, nope, I'm going to reach out to charities. And I did it. And then I raised the money and I did it. And that I think is
Raised the money
why.
and didn't even let anyone contribute. We'll just go back to that.
So yeah,
Well,
after
okay.
this
And is your entire feed your like marathon stuff? Because
marathon,
even I opened my feed like 2 days ago and I was like, oh, Instagram thinks I'm running this.
because
There's like not one thing that is not related to the marathon. And I'm like, that's either because they know deeply our interconnectivity, things with work, like the fact that broadly, it's just.
Oh, the whole time it's people. Now it's people coming home, like when I used to watch the Masters, like haul. Now everyone's coming home with their expo haul and telling everybody what they got. People are like walking in the office with their stuff on, being like, people should like, what I expect my coworkers to do when I walk in with my marathon outfit.
My
And then this
gosh.
one person was the best. They had their shoes watching their computer screen because there's all these aerial views of the route where you can watch like a sped up version of the route. And it was like making my shoes watch the route so they know what to expect in a couple. Like, just people are so freaking funny on social media. So, oh yeah, my whole feed. I mean, truly, like I'm always this way when I have something big coming up. I cannot think of November 3rd. Like right now, it's like my whole.
Well, okay, and that leads me to my second question. My first question was like, how do we think the girls are perceiving it and whatnot? But my second question is like, what happens after? Like, this has been your sole focus.
I know it's
I'm
really
like,
scary.
I'm curious about like, do you worry about the letdown of that when that's over?
100%. I haven't really had anything like this besides, I know this is the stupidest thing, but when I'm out there training and running, I'm like, this is the closest to childbirth.
I was
I've
okay,
ever-
that's not stupid because I was actually going to say that where you're like, it is a long period of time. It's a intense commitment and focus on your body. Like,
Yep.
that is, like, one big piece of child rearing is, like,
Yep.
the pregnancy part of it. And then you have
Oh,
the baby and your entire life kind of changes, but, like, I feel like it's gotta be a similar thing.
it really is in the sense of, like, every week that you're pregnant, you're, like, excited about the new growth. Every week in the marathon, if you know marathon people, all they'll ask you is, like, "What's your long run this weekend? How far are you going? Where was your route?" Like, it's so week by week in
Yeah.
training. And then, like, even the week leading up to it, you have this, like, insane taper where, like, again, I said I only ran 2 miles today, which, like, when you're about to have your baby, you just kinda do nothing and nest, and literally yesterday, I didn't have to run, and I had 3 hours by myself at home. What I was able to accomplish in those 3 hours, like, I got my winter bin out. I completely cleaned my front bathroom because 'cause it's been, like, a storage mess. It's now
Yeah.
you can actually like, I was like, "I'm, like, nesting like my baby is coming," but I've never had this much time, and so I've thought a lot about it of, like, I think I might have to sign up for a half because I have enjoyed the training more than I thought I
Yeah.
would. Because I do remember
Yeah.
in San Francisco kind of feeling like I'm kind of like, God, this training is so annoying because I think I was way more social, where now I thoroughly love on a Saturday morning that I can say to Kyle, "Peace out, see you in 3 hours." And I just, like, go by like, a lot of people do running groups. Me running by myself has been, like, my favorite part about this. I, like,
Yeah.
put in my it's like my me time. I put in a podcast. I don't know. I think those are the
And what are you listening to on this many-hour journey? Like, do you listen to music? Are you gonna be out there listening to a podcast while you're running? That seems you're
Doesn't
gonna
that seem
listen to
horrible?
we're gonna catch up on We'll Sleep When We're Dead. You're just gonna
Yeah.
listen to us back.
Okay, so I have thought so much about this. I've never not run without headphones except that one day. Did that podcast ever come out when I talked about how I didn't run with headphones? It's hard to know because we recorded so many
It
episodes.
it did come out because one of, Kevin's friends, I don't know if he's still listening, 13 episodes in or whatnot, but he's like, "Lucy, you saying, like, that Sam was raw dogging it without any headphones was one of the funniest
Funniest
things."
things, yeah. Okay. So
Yeah.
that was, like, truly, like, the only time I don't have headphones in, and then this morning I just did okay, so I've read so much about this too, like, the New York City crowds are the reason why this is, like, so cool, and so I put on my TikTok, like, "Okay, what am I running with?" Because right now, if I run for less than 40 minutes, I always have music. Anything over 45 minutes to an hour, it's full podcast. So even on my 3-hour runs, I would listen to 1 or 2 podcast episodes, like, long ones, like, there's a new serial out right now.
Is there really?
Yes, and it's really dark, but that's okay. There was, like, a cup I
Love
know,
that for us. I'm putting it
I know.
right now.
Yeah, it's really dark about, doctors who are yeah, it's bad. Anyway, so but then, like, I would need, like, an uplifting break from these podcasts, so after, like, an hour and a half of podcasting, I would put on, like oh,
My
your
phone was
Spotify.
like, we wanna play music."
So then
That's
I'll
what my
put on
phone was
music
saying.
for, like, 30 minutes, and then I'd put okay, so anyway, I went on TikTok and I was like, "What are we listening to?" I cannot tell you how many people say, "Bring your headphones, but do not use them until you're desperate." That's how good the crowds are. Like, the crowds are so basically, like, Staten Island, I've read that they play Frank Sinatra, the whole bridge. So, like,
Oh my
you're listening to
god.
on the bridge, so then I'm not gonna have my headphones for the first 2 miles. The people who care less about this have just completely turned this podcast off, by the way. They're just like, literally, what is she like, nobody cares about you running a marathon,
We're
okay?
gonna look at the, analytics for this, and it's gonna be like the
And it's gonna
stats are after
oh,
minute 11, people have logged
done,
off, and
done.
they'll hope for next week we have a guest.
They're all voting for me to never run the New York City Marathon again.
They're like, "Where is Caitlin? Can we hear a little bit more about Looky Loo?"
Get that doctor back on. Okay,
Mhm.
and then Brooklyn, the first 12 miles are Brooklyn, and everyone was like, "It's such a party." And then I'm gonna be super emotional because once I hit Williamsburg and Greenpoint, I will know so many people. Like, I have so many people that are like, "I'm gonna be on 5th, 8th," my family. Then you hit the halfway mark, which was really cool. I went for a run a couple days ago over that bridge that I run all the time. That's another thing that is so freaking cool about this is so many people are flying in for this. Like, I've been training this route the
Yeah.
whole time. Like, I'm not going to be shocked when I go over the Queensboro Bridge where everyone was like, that's the hardest part because there's no crowd and it's uphill. And I'm like, I run the Queensboro Bridge at least once a week. Like, it doesn't. Anyway, then you come off the Queensboro Bridge at mile 16 and First Avenue, that's when you hit Manhattan, and I've heard those are the most insane crowds. So literally, people are like, sometimes I don't even listen to anything until the Queensboro Bridge at mile 16, and then I take my headphones back out when I get to Manhattan. And then I've heard the Bronx is just like a party. So I'm like, I actually don't even know if I will listen to anything, but if I do, I agree with you. I think listening to a podcast during the New York City Marathon would probably be the weirdest thing in the
I think
world.
that's absolutely savage. So please
Savage.
do not
So,
come
yeah.
back and report back that that's what you've done.
So I'm playing around with maybe this would be a fun time to launch our podcast or
Well, that was what I was trying to pull up before my music so rudely started playing.
interrupted me.
Because I was curious, how long? I'm going to have you guess. If you listened to our playlist consecutively.
So Lucy has created this We'll Sleep When We're Dead playlist because Lucy's music, she is a savage when it comes to listening to music. If anybody knows that trend right now, that is like two people singing back to back, that is Sam and Lucy. Okay. If you know what I'm talking about, go watch it. I sent it to Lucy and was like, if we lived together, this would be us. And Lucy is part 2, just in case anybody wants to know. She has the absolute best playlist, and I would say I always shuffle it. So I don't know, is it 50 minutes?
Oh my gosh.
Oh God, how long?
Try again.
Okay, 1 hour and 35 minutes.
You could actually listen to this playlist start to finish and probably for your entire race.
It's 4 hours?
3 hours and 51 minutes.
You have been adding.
Okay. I mean...
So the only thing
and subtracting, because I will say Sam gives me more feedback about this playlist because it is only the two of us that listen to it. She's like, that one's just a little screamy. And so now when I introduce new ones, I'm like, did we listen to it? Did we like it?
There's moments I have to like stop in my runs and I have to screenshot because I'm like, Lucy, what have you done? This is amazing. I will say the only thing I might add or switch between that is
Taylor Swift is going to be.
If I run an 8.5 minute mile, 5 miles, it's the life of a showgirl from start to finish. And I don't know any other album that I vocally out loud sing while I'm running. Like I will hear myself singing out the life of a showgirl. So those are
This is the new one, right? Because I have only listened to like 2 songs on it.
Yeah, this is the new one. So anyway, yeah, I think I might do that. Just not listen to anything.
You may not even listen to anything. I'm just imagining, given my clumsiness, and Kevin listening to this will actually laugh. I would, if I'm taking AirPods in and out while trying to run a race.
No.
Like we've lost both AirPods on one is gone on mile 2, the other's on 16, and then the case is gone on 24.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, there's like so much to that too. Like I'm bringing plug-in ear headphones for the start race that I'm donating. So then my earpods don't lose battery.
I was trying to explain this to my mom. I was like, Mom, Sam is going to wear a bathrobe to the start line and then she's going to donate it. And my mom was like,
I'll send pics.
I don't understand. Yeah. I don't understand.
It's just the most exciting thing in the entire world. I truly like when you say what's next, it's so scary because truly I know this can be like, I might be dramatic here, but you know, that's who I am. Being a stay-at-home mom is bringing it back to the podcast is really freaking hard. And so many people say the benefits will come later. Like just wait when you're like older kids, like you'll see it once they get older. And it's really hard to be doing this every single day and not really know. I mean, there are so many days where I am just like, how am I raising that? Like, that is appalling. That behavior is appalling. Or like, but there are days when I'm training for this marathon that I'm like, you freaking crushed that. Like, I'm not very proud of myself for a lot of things in the sense of my work, you know, because my work can be so daunting. Like, there are some days when I get all 3 kids to school, which I have a funny story about this with Kyle. All 3 kids to school because Kyle's traveling and all of my kids are on time. And I see people with like 1 kid late and I will walk away being like, you crushed this morning, Sam. But like,
here's the question though. Do they have to be happy when you're dropping them off for you to feel?
No.
Okay. But because that's there's a big difference between the two of us again.
No.
If children are dropped off and someone has a tear or a bad attitude, I have failed. Really? And I know that we've talked about this before, but it's like Piper in the pants. I mean, if I get her to school and she's sobbing because she has to wear pants because it's 40 degrees, I take that like it's hard for me 'cause I'm like, I should have been able to, like, turn her attitude around about those pants somehow.
Okay, this is so funny you said this. This very dear friend from here, from Brooklyn, texted me. I hope it's okay that I'm telling this story. I think it is because obviously I'm not going to say who it was. And I'll just make it very generic. It was very similar to that. She's like, I'm having a little bit of a pity party because it was a really rough morning. And she has two kids and two different schools. And I had to walk away with one of my kids screaming, like, has this ever happened to you? And it's so funny. I'm like, this happens to me all the time and I have zero feelings on it. Like, I just always hear in myself, my kids are happy, my kids are safe, and my kids are loved. They can walk into school screaming. Because in
Yeah.
5 seconds, I've been a teacher on the other side. They are so fine. So I have zero, imagine that. I have zero no, I'm just like, I did my job. They're an emotional mess. They're safe. They're loved. The teachers know it. I'm very much like, I hand off, I run away. I don't sugarcoat it. I've had like people pull my hair going into teachers' hands.
It largely depends where I personally am, like, emotionally on the spectrum that day.
It's
Like, if
true.
I'm, like, teetering 8 to 10, as I have been this week on, like, will I cry, will I not? Because everything feels like a lot. I'm gonna get that written down. That rhymed, and we love a rhyme. It felt like a poem or a start of a rap song or something, I don't know. Then
Our new
I'm like,
tagline.
then it's tough. I mean, it's, like, tough for me versus on days where I'm like, "I'm emotionally fine. This is ridiculous," and I recognize that. But it
Yeah.
was funny because I had a moment of weakness, of some tears while dropping off Henry this week, and he's like, I don't cry regularly, I'm not a crier,
Yeah.
and he goes, "Mommy, what's wrong?" Like, it was very because he has a very tender heart, and I was
Yeah.
like, "You know what, buddy? Like, I don't know how to describe it, I just feel really overwhelmed right
Yeah.
now." He's like, "About what?" And I was like, "I can't even explain it to you because, like, I can't." Like, I'm, like,
Yeah.
kinda tearing up talking about it. And he just was, like, pretty quiet in the back seat, and he goes, "You know what, mommy? Sometimes I get overwhelmed too." I was like, I go, "About what, buddy?" Like, this is what I was I repeated this story to Kevin, we were laughing, and he goes, "Sometimes at school, I have to do things I don't wanna do." And I go,
No.
"Can you give
That's
me
so
some example?"
true,
And
though.
it
It's
is so
so
true, and
true.
it was just, like, because it's coming from such a tender place, but then the examples were just, like, what really turned my day
Yeah.
around.
Yeah.
He goes, sometimes I have to cut things and sometimes I have to glue things, and
No.
I don't like doing those." And I was like, "Yes."
Buddy, yeah.
Oh, our spirit of being overwhelmed right now, not exactly the
No.
same, but, like, the sentiment is really
Oh,
great, but then so he says that, and he just goes, "You know what, mommy? Sometimes if I get overwhelmed, I just sit there and I take a really deep breath." So tender.
gosh, look at you guys talking about your feelings. See, that's so good.
Isn't it
Yeah,
sweet?
it's so funny because when I have those moments, which maybe says something really bad about me, I go to like, why is this so hard?
Mhm.
Like, it's not that I want the pity party, but it's just like, I could be doing all the right things and these kids just don't. It's like square, hole, round peg or
Yeah.
whatever, you know? So,
Yeah.
like, when they're kicking and screaming and they're crying and I'm dropping them off, I'm just sometimes like, I'm not upset about me, but it's hard to articulate. It's more just like, why does this so simple of an activity have to be so hard?
Yeah.
Because I know that they're loved. I know that they're safe. I trust their teachers. I've done my best. They're just having a hard moment. But it's more of just like, all we did was got to school. Like, why does this have to be a fight? We do this every day. Like, I get more like big picture of just like, why was that a screaming fest today? Like, what
Well,
is
and I think it's so funny because I think similarly, when I'm really, like, not at an 8 to 10 of being emotional and I'm, like, a 1 to 2 and, like, being in my normal self, I'm like, "Gosh, you guys have it so good." And this is not something you're ever gonna tell your kids, but you're just like, there are so many kids in the world that don't have, like, one fraction of the things that you have, and you're crying about having to put on pants.
pants? Pants. Those
Or,
are
like,
those
you didn't
moments.
like your breakfast options, or you didn't whatever the
Yeah.
case may be.
Yeah.
But that's where it's like, you can't what am I supposed to do about that? I'm not gonna, like, have a lesson in thankfulness right there at the door while we're crying about the pants, so
But this goes back to that episode that I don't think we ever talked about, the F around and find out.
Mhm.
There's a level of because I actually was just having a conversation with another mom friend that was like, we had a huge fight about a coat. I'm not gonna let my kid go outside with a coat if it's 40 degrees. And there was a part of me that's like, well, why not? Like, your kid is 4.5. You're not putting a 2-month-old out in the cold.
Right.
Why not have your 4.5-year-old walk to school? You have the coat in your hand and
Yeah.
she's freezing. And then eventually she'll turn around and be like, I'm
I'm
cold.
cold.
So, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I go instead of like I mean, there's basic things like maybe shoes, underwear, like obviously, but pants. I mean, my kids struggle so much with seasons changing because they want the jellies in the winter. And so I have to take the jellies out of the bin and hide them in the
Yes.
closet and put the tennis shoes in because if they see
Yep.
the jellies, but sometimes with like the less important, like the hat and the gloves, I'll just
Right.
hold them and be like, for example, yesterday, I promised my kids that we would go to the new space in Dumbo. We had an absolute monsoon yesterday. I don't know if you saw on the news.
That's what I heard.
It
Yes.
was insanity, but like the commitment junkie in me was like, I'm going to pick Isla up from school and she's going to look at me and say, we're going to Dumbo. But the best way for us to get to Dumbo is to take the ferry. And when it's nice out, it's like the most joyous time. It's like a 20
Right.
minute walk to the ferry, a 20-minute ferry ride. And then it's only like a 10. We've never been to the Space Club in Dumbo. And so I was like, what a fun activity on a Thursday. Well, anyway, it was a monsoon. So I like packed up like we were going to go and they're like sideways rain. And she's like, no, we're going to walk to the ferry. And I'm like, okay, literally 2 blocks into the walk. She literally looks and she's like, Mom, I'm soaking wet. I think we go home. And I was like, yeah, like, I
Oh,
don't think that's a good decision. So
I'm
there's
grateful,
also,
Isla, for that
I know.
decision. I'm
So
also
there's,
trying to imagine you guys on a ferry in those conditions.
yeah, I kept checking it was running. But yeah, that's where I like love the F run and find out because it's kind of like, which again is not what the reason of this episode, but it's like they're safe, they're loved, they're not
Yeah.
like they're a little cold, but they're probably gonna figure it out,
Yeah.
or like I don't know. That's a whole other that's a whole other episode.
Whole other episode. Well, this has been kind of a random one, but I'm
I
fine with
know.
that.
I know. Do you want to talk about Halloween really quickly and then just wrap it up?
I just want to know. I just want to know what you do. Do you go to stoops? Do you go knock on people's doors in your condo building? Like, what does it
Yeah.
look like? Can't even imagine it.
Well, it's so funny that okay, so just real quick too. This time 2 years ago, for all the listeners that don't know this story, I get very overwhelmed. I'm not like an emotionally nostalgic person, but last October 2023 was when Kyle and I came here on a work trip without our kids. And then 3 days later on that work trip, we committed to moving here. So we flew back to Charlotte. And then for 2 months, we planned an entire move and we were in New York by January. But I specifically remember walking this neighborhood in October, and I'm not a Halloween person. I like it, but I'm not like a Halloween person in the
Right.
sense of like
Right.
October 1st is my holiday. I enjoy it and then I move on. And I remember walking around this neighborhood just being like, does anybody have kids in New York? Like, this is so silly. How are we moving 3 kids to Brooklyn that are old? Like, everybody just has bait, whatever. But then we would be walking around this neighborhood and they go all out with
I
decorations.
bet.
So, like, okay, so then fast forward every year, I get so nostalgic because last Halloween, I remember we live really close to some of the main streets. That's what I've kind
Yeah.
of noticed with cities. Not every street is intense, but there's these neighborhoods that I feel like the neighbors just rally and like 6 streets in your neighborhood just go all out. And so people
Yeah.
just go on those streets. And last year I took a video of literally like shoulder to
I
shoulder
remember this now.
and being like, this is so funny that I used to think that nobody raised kids in Brooklyn because I was so naive. And now it's like such a fun, it's so warm and yummy when I think
Yeah.
about it because I'm like, I'm so obsessed with raising my kids here right now. And so anyway, there's like these houses that will have 4 apartments and they just like all go in together on a theme. And so
Fun.
it's mostly stoop. I live in a condo building and we've not really talked about it, but like our doorman has had like a candy basket out most days. So we'll go out at like 4:35 and we'll probably only make it on like 3 streets, but like yeah, every single stoop, people will be out there passing out candy. It's
My
so
gosh. I
it's so
love
much
it.
fun. But this is my favorite part. I moved from Charlotte, where literally there was like trunk or treat, your neighborhood trick or treat the weekend before, the school thing, blah, it was so annoying. And what I love about Brooklyn is Halloween is one day. There's no trunk or treats because nobody has cars.
Yeah.
The schools celebrated on their day. And so the best part is like this Halloween is the first time we put costumes on. Like it'll be
So
yeah.
fun.
So anyway, I love it. But you're gonna be riding your golf cart?
I mean, it just seems like that's how people are getting around this year. We're not gonna walk. We walked last year, but this year everyone's like, just come over. And then I don't know. Maybe we're walking, maybe we're on a golf cart. It's all very
My
I don't
gosh. When
know. I
we
mean,
like
my kids are so different. Henry's already asked. He's like, "Hey, when are we gonna be able to pass out candy? Like, should we stay at home and pass out candy?" This is his sweet, tender heart. Or should we go out first? I'm like, "Bud, we can do whatever you wanna do." Versus Piper, even last year at age 2.5,
oh, all the candy.
made it an hour longer in
Yes.
40-degree weather
Yes.
than Henry did. He wanted to just go home.
Oh yeah.
So I'm
Finley
just envisioning the same thing. Like, she doesn't even care that much about candy, but, like, it's the mission of it all.
Finley eats the candy as quickly as she gets it. It's like this system where so real quick and then we can end it. Have you heard of the Switch Witch?
No.
Okay. Okay.
What is
So
this?
to me, this is the most ridiculous thing, but I have to share the story with my firstborn, Isla. The Switch Witch is where if you don't want your kids to eat the candy, the Switch Witch comes at night, takes all the candy, and the next morning there's a gift from the Switch Witch.
And you have to opt in as the child, like, whether which to come?
From what I've gathered, people start it right away, so the kid knows no difference.
Got it. It's like an
Okay?
elf on the shelf.
It's like an elf on the shelf. So if you start the Switch Witch at 1, the kid will never not know that's just how their Halloween exists, okay?
Got it.
I deeply wanted candy as a kid, so I didn't do that. However, my sweet Isla, who doesn't really like candy, a couple days ago goes, "Hey mom, I've heard somebody called the Switch Witch might. Is that something that we could do?" And I was like, "Well, if you want to opt in." And then she goes, "Okay, well, I think I just want to wait until tonight or whenever like Halloween because then I want to determine what candy I get and if I don't like it, I want the Switch Witch to
Yep.
come."
I love this. She's, like, playing the odds. She's trying to understand all of her options.
And because this child has never believed in any sort of I mean, it's
Anything.
not a kid podcast, so I can say Santa. She's never
Yeah.
believed in it because she's questioned it since day one.
Yep.
I just looked at her in the
Her
face and I said,
skepticism is so good.
"It's so good." I just looked at her yeah, a couple days ago. "Hey, Isla, just so you know, I think we all agree I'm the Switch Witch. So if you don't tell me if the Switch Witch needs to come, I'm not going to be prepared with a gift." And she still was like, "I want to see what candy I get." And
So the
so
switch, which might not come till, like, next Tuesday, but, like,
correct.
yeah.
Correct. And then in classic Finley fashion, she wants nothing to do with that. She wants every
No, she
single
wants
bit
all
of
her
that.
candy. And Ruby's just happy to be here, so
Ruby is just happy to be a ghost. She is
Oh,
just so happy. She could care less what anything. She's going to probably be carried all like yeah.
by you.
Yes, by me.
Yeah.
Yes, correct. All
All
right.
right, I don't think I ever share I hope you have something you're loving, which I'm sure that you do with all this marathon stuff.
It's my last week to talk about my running
I know, that's
personality.
why I'm like, share the last thing, because I don't think I ever shared what I did for myself, which was not really me doing it for me, it was someone else that did it for us. Did I s did I share
No,
this?
share that while I think of a product.
Couple weeks ago now, my brother and sister-in-law offered to take the kids overnight on a Friday night for a sleepover, and they have, like, an amazing farm with pigs and chickens and bunnies and a dog and all of this amazing stuff, and so they took the kids at, like, 4. They kept them there till, like, 10 the next day, went and picked them up. Kev and I were like, "This is just coming off a vacation," and I was like, "I don't even wanna go out to eat, like, we've already been doing that."
Mhm.
So, we just did, like, easy dinner at home, and then we reorganized the basement, and it was, like, the best. It was, like, a big project that we've been wanting to get done, but it's, like, when you have the kids and you're, like, trying to optimize for a fun weekend, that's not the thing that you wanna be doing.
No.
So, it was just so fun. We, like, put on music that we wanted to listen to that wasn't Trolls or Minions
Oh my
and had a
god.
glass of wine and reorganized the basement, and it was great. So, it was something that someone had done for us, and it was amazing.
I love that, and I so can't wait that I'm finally getting to that point that I feel like I can start doing that for other people. You know, when you have babies and you're like not in it and you feel like everybody's doing, like in Charlotte, all my friends were doing so much for me because I had a newborn. And now I'm at that point where I'm like, I could have a friend send over their kid for 5 hours. You know, like it's so wonderful when people do that because it almost is like, yeah, that's so wonderful. I love that
Yeah,
for you.
it was amazing.
I have really talked a lot about my running gear. Like I know what my outfit's going to be. Obviously, Bandit is amazing.
So
Um,
awesome.
have I talked about Gooder sunglasses? But I feel like everybody knows about those. Those are my sunglasses that I'm going
Yeah.
to be running. I've talked about my
What
gear.
shoes are you running in? I don't think people know that, and I'm always curious about that.
I actually have done Brooks shoes. Is that the brand? Is that the brand? I'm like now blanking.
Yeah,
So,
Brooks, definitely.
yeah, I used to do another brand that I yeah, Brooks. I used to do another brand that I absolutely love. But then when I kept researching like the top 10 running shoes for marathoners, like they were never hitting the top 10. They were way more of
Yeah,
just like a workout shoe. And so yeah, I've done Brooks. I really like them. But what I love about Gooder sunglasses too is how cheap they are.
yeah,
Reasonable because like I'm raising money for breast cancer, so a lot of my outfit is pink, so I got like hot pink ones just for race day, and you're
amazing.
you're only spending like $25. But Brooks running shoes have been great. I'm intrigued by different brands. I'm not changing anything, but I think if I keep like doing halves, I want to try a few other brands. But Brooks right now have been really good. Gooder sunglasses are great. I know.
Well,
I'm so
good luck. You're gonna
excited.
be amazing.
I
Think
know.
we're
And
gonna
I
be
won't be
so
able to really
excited to hear.
I won't really be able to talk about it because we'll release this and then we have a fun guest coming up after
We
that
do.
one. So it's going to be like 2 or 3 weeks before I talk about it. But you can go follow me if you want to on the app. Well, no, it'll be over. Just kidding. None of this, Matt. No,
Oh
it'll be
gosh.
done when I release this.
My goodness. Well, good luck. So proud
Thank
of you.
you.
You're a
Thank
boss.
you. Thank you.
We'll see you
All
later.
right. Love ya.
Bye.
Bye.